It has to wick sweat away. It has to be breathable. It has to be light. The whole thing has to be light. And I know, you know this, we've talked about this. The whole arm is only a few pounds, which even on that front, okay, so then you double click on weight, so we look at the weight of this thing and, we look at all these amazing arms that are being concepted in academia for this stuff that receive all this like government funding and stuff. These arms are like 10 pounds, 15 pounds. The average adult's human's arm is 5% of your body weight. So if you're 100 pounds, each of your arms is about 5 pounds. If you're 200 pounds, each arm's about 10 pounds. But there is a big difference between weight and perceived weight. If I took a 5-pound weight and hung it on your shoulder, you're going to lean, right? You're going to get like musculoskeletal issues if I do that. So we got to find a way to preload a bunch of that weight. And that's why we went so deep on saying, okay, everyone else is making these harnesses, just throw it away. Like there's no way you can keep using those. No one wears their prosthetics because these things are so uncomfortable. But what if, we asked ourselves, like, what if we use the whole surface area of the torso? Wait a minute, that's a crazy concept no one's ever done before. But, well, actually, yeah, you could just put some semi-rigid materials into a shirt and keep it kind of stationary on someone's body, and then attach the socket to that, apply some preload to it, kind of snug it up to someone's stump, and all of a sudden, our arm is, I think, about 4 pounds right now, the prototype is. And that 4 pounds, can start to feel like 3 pounds, 2 pounds, 1 pound, and you diffuse the load and the forces across the whole torso, and then you apply a little preload. And the first thing we see, we had a guy come in who was literally leaning, like walking in, he was literally leaning. And we were like, oh man, this is going to be a hard one. And he took his prosthetic off, and he kind of leaned back towards center a little bit, but he was still leaning. And then when he put the Atom Touch prototype on, he was still leaning, and literally Doug just looked at him. He's like, yo, dude, you can stand up straight with this, right? And he was like, oh. And he stood up straight. He's like, oh my God. And he didn't even think. He'd been so indoctrinated into thinking like that's just the way it is. His body was used to it. Then he starts walking around the office, and he's got a much more normal gait, as he's walking. And yeah, I just think you got to go as deep as possible on all this stuff, to your question.